I'm working though, so I'm not able to just go out and really see London. I think I'm going to go see a Shakespearean play this evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Sure, the Arcandroid, it is a follow-up to Metropolis, Suite 104 The Chase. It's a 4-part series, and this is Suites 2 and 3 combined, which make up my first full-length album. It's an emotion picture for the mind. We wanted the album to evoke emotions that we just hadn't been in touch with in a long, long, long time. It deals with the Arcandroid. There was a quote from Metropolis, Rick Slang's Metropolis, that said the mediator between the mind and the hands is the heart. And I consider myself the heart, the music that I create the heart, to unite us, not to divide us, to be the mediator between the oppressed and the oppressor, the haves and the have-nots, the minority and the majority. And the music was written for the people to uplift them and inspire them, to be their choice of drug, if you will. So that's just a little bit about it. If you listen from the beginning to the end, I think you'll be in for a very transformative experience. But you have to listen from the beginning to the end. My inspiration, it comes from the people. Again, I come from a very working class family. My mother was a janitor, my father skilled trash trucks, and my stepfather, who's just like my father, works at the post office now. And so I wear a uniform paying homage to them, my black and white tuxedo. It's just really my responsibility to create music, or to create a different perspective, to give them a different perspective that motivates and inspires them, keeps them moving and encouraged. In terms of the eclecticism, I have a very diverse palette. I mean, I'm growing up in the iPod generation, where if I put my iPod on shuffle, I can take a Jimi Hendrix and then Judy Garland next, or a Bach or Rachmaninoff and then James Brown. Like, that doesn't alert me. It actually is the element of surprise that I love about it. And that's why, I guess we're just a lover of great music. We're not really into doing anything different for the sake of doing anything different. It's about creating great music, and there's a lot of great music that was made in the 50s and 60s and 70s and so forth that we pulled from and we felt was appropriate. Yeah. Long story.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's quite boring. But I studied at the American Musical and Dramatics Academy in New York, and I enjoyed it there. But I wanted to create my own musical, so I left. I learned a lot, and I still have my books. But I'm a writer. I've been writing plays since I was 13 years old. I was in the Young Playwrights Roundtable, and so I've just kind of always had my way of wanting to develop my writing skills and create my own musicals. So I moved away to do that. And Atlanta, no real special reason, but I think it was a good place to start. One of the best decisions I made was to move there, because I was able to start my own business as an independent artist. When I first moved there, I was living in a boarding house with 5 other girls, and I was literally selling my CD, The Audition, an independent release that I pressed up out of my house. And I was working at Office Depot, and I had just gotten fired for using the computer to respond back to one of my supporters for buying the song. And Big Boy heard it, and he put it out. Big Boy Podcast. So that's kind of how this journey began on a higher level. Yeah, he's like family. He understands the industry. There's so many highs and lows. You have to stay in the middle and balance, tight-roping through life. Very balanced in it all. And, we've had off-the-record talks. And so it was just very appropriate for him to come, give his perspective on how to keep his balance. This is a partnership. I'm actually signed to the Wonderland Art Society, which is my own recording label. This is a partnership, very unique. And Sean Combs is a huge endorser and campaign, advisor to Wonderland. He believes in us creatively. He doesn't have anything to do creatively with what it is that we put out. He supports it and wants people to know about it. And so that's our relationship is. I didn't have a whole lot of influences growing up. There were a lot of great singers, but I was too busy in talent showcases and writing, and I didn't really have time to get into artists. Of course, I loved like Lauryn Hill. She was an inspiration to me for a woman role model. But I was in musical theater. I was always playing a character in James and the Giant Peach, or The Wiz, or Cinderella, or Little Shop of Horrors. I didn't really get into like artists like that until I said I wanted to be an artist. Then that's when I kind of did a little homework, a little research, and I started to get into a lot of artists. My freedom. My freedom as an artist to express myself and to make mistakes and to try out new ideas, I think it's important for artists to go through those moments of writing bad songs or whatever to get to the great stuff. And if I didn't have that process to be able to freely express myself and try out stuff and fly, it's just a very hateful thing to do to somebody, to take away their freedom. No, I don't get caught up in the whole accolades and I'm doing this so I can get this. No. I try to make sure it's quality, make sure the music is jamming, that people can really be inspired by it and believe in it. And that I'm moved by it, too. As long as those things are in place, then I think everything else would just be Easter eggs. So. It depends on who the person is and where they're standing. They can expect to pick me up while I'm crowd surfing, or get water splashed on their head, or feel the Holy Ghost. I don't really know. I'm excited. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't really choreograph too much of what you see live. I try to just really be very fearless on stage and create art and just try some stuff. Right now, we are working on a visual for every song on the Archangel with a very strong narrative. So we're creating our movie, if you will. The graphic novel, The Archangel, will be coming out. We're already finished with the illustrations by Chad Weatherford, and Chuck and I wrote the graphic novel. And I'm going to be on tour, co-headlining with Of Montreal, who they're on my album and I'm on their album. So I'm pretty busy with those three things, and there's some other things, but I think you need a surprise in your life.
Keeping them close to your chest. Keeping them close to your chest.
Yeah.